Vice! You dumbass! Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace! How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Vice a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
Now, if that's not a bomb-ass opening to a bomb-ass game, I don't know what the fuck is. What's good, y'all? Lady Pelvic here, bringing you my latest and greatest review of Nier, which came out in 2010 for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, which is what I played it on. As most of you guys know, obscure footage of Nier 2 was shown at this year's E3, which made me so hyped and motivated me to do a review of Nier, because a lot of people either don't know about the game or are kind of iffy on it, because it did get a lot of average reviews. So I'm here to tell you to at least give it a try. I understand its average rating, I really do, but I enjoyed it so much. I played it 5 times over. So I just want to point out, even if a game gets out an average rating, you really should give it a try. I do admit, this game isn't some mind-blowing, crazy game, but I had so much fun with it, and that's why I implore you guys to try it out. Here is the review of Nier. Nier starts off in an abandoned building, fending off these ethereal, glowing yellowish creatures called Shades to protect his terminally ill daughter, Yona. Constantly being bombarded by Shades, Nier decides he needs more power and uses the magic tomes to successfully fight off the enemies. Then, skip 1,312 years later, and you see Nier and his daughter, Yona, in a town which seems to be built on top of ruins. Nier is a middle-aged single dad who is truly a strong and good person at heart. He is the town's borderline charity case, and accepts quests from villagers to earn money, all while hunting for a cure for his daughter. Nier stupidly tells Yona of a flower that can grant any wish, and while Nier is running errands for the villagers, Yona disappears to find this flower. Sure enough, she ends up in the Lost Shrine, a dangerous temple littered with shades. It is there you're introduced to Grimoire Vice, the pompous, intelligent, well-spoken white book, and arguably my favorite character. After saving Yona from the depths of the temple, Weiss sees Yona is infected with the disease known as the Black Scrawl. Weiss suggests if he has all of his sealed verses, there may be some hope for Yona. Without hesitation, Nier sets off to find all the sealed verses to help his dying daughter, which unfolds into a bigger adventure than one would expect. The overall story of Nier, though, was honestly okay, probably because it was confusing. It just took a really fast turn at the end and it seemed pretty crammed. Normally there are little hints throughout the game that raise questions and get you thinking. Nier had them, but they were so scarce, and you really had to be paying attention. This game just let it all out in the end. It came out very discombobulated. Even with the multiple endings that gave the background on Shades and the characters, it still came out wonky. During your adventure, you're accompanied by Kaine.
Hands off the flowers.
That's, quite the outfit.
A foul-mouthed, half-shade woman, and Emil, a timid young man who has the power to petrify anything he looks at. Both characters come with ornate stories that complement Nier's adventure to save his daughter. Not only do the character stories add to the overall adventures, but the characters themselves complement each other. Such a strange cast of characters with drastically different personalities creates an entertaining banter as you go.
I saw you exchange some words with that Emil lad earlier. Hopefully it was nothing inappropriate for a young man of his age.
Speak the truth, hussy!
Book? Shut up.
Also, the story behind each different town or area was amazing. Towns were not only differentiated by look, but by story. Without giving too much away, there's a land bound by countless rules, while another town won't step outside their house because they all live in fear of Shades. No town resembled another town in the slightest, and I really enjoyed that. The graphics, oh dear. Nier is certainly not known for having the best graphics. Not terrible, but for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, it could have been better. For example, the characters looked a little glossy, or there were certain times the characters became blurry, and it wasn't even a depth of field thing. In spite of this, there were some moments where I thought it looked good. For example, I'm a sucker for over-the-top blood gush, especially when the blood has like a watercolor look to it. And certain enemies did rock the glossy look. The facial expressions, or rather lack of, was not beneficial at all. Luckily, the voice acting was great and conveyed the character's expression through sound. All in all, let's just leave it at Nier is not a game you pick to show off the graphics. Alright, the gameplay. Now we're getting to some of the good stuff. a third-person JRPG. I found the gameplay to be enjoyable and enthralling. With different types of weapons and several spells, battling can be a bit overwhelming, but if you're like me, you'll fancy the choices on how to bash your enemy. With several bursts of magic from enemies and yourself, the screen can get a little stuffed, but believe me, it's completely possible to dodge, attack, or defend against it all. On the other hand, while having options is fantastic, I found myself frequently changing skills I had equipped in the heat of battle. It got a little irksome. In Nier, you can customize your magic and weapons with Weiss's words to gain a little extra power-ups like more experience or more damage. Your allies aren't something you have to manage too much, as they don't have any kind of hit point counter or MP counter. They have basic attack or defense settings. All in all, you'll be doing most of the slaughtering. Let's talk about the dungeons. I'm a huge fan of them all being designed immensely different. Some of them are confusing mazes, while others have a set of rules you have to follow in order to continue. You can tell that the Legend of Zelda games helped inspire this game, not only because certain puzzles and dungeons, but similar bosses, like Godon from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, released in 2003. And the character mannerisms. These similarities aren't a turn on or off from the game, but as a devoted Legend of Zelda fan, I couldn't not mention this. After you fight and weaken a boss, a timer appears, and you must break the timer before it goes full circle. If you don't, the boss regains some health and you have to do the process over. If you do, you deliver the final blow. If you need some relief from the story, the towns in Nier offer quests. Quests range from collecting items to killing tough enemies. My issue with quests is they're basic and boring as fuck, and you don't get a semi-decent fast travel option until halfway through the game. And these quests have you going all over the place, so prepare for a lot of walking. Quests are the way to go when earning money, which can be used on items or upgrading weapons. Upgrading is tough though, to be honest. It's not worth grinding for all the materials to get a better weapon. Grinding is hella exhausting and it slows down the game immensely. But not as much as this one town in the game. There's a town that is all about dreamy words and has an excessive amount of reading. An unnecessary amount of reading. While it was an interesting twist of gameplay, it did not do the game any justice. My last portion is the music. Holy crap, this game's soundtrack is the best thing about this game. I'll even say it is the best JRPG soundtrack I have ever heard. Every song on the soundtrack nails it. If you like chanting, relaxing music, this is your soundtrack. The music is so extraordinary. I noticed the music before I noticed the graphics or the gameplay. Because this game has limited fast travel, and I had to travel a lot for the quest, the music made it bearable. The music in towns, dungeons, boss battles are all beautiful. My favorite track? Honestly, it's a tough one. If I absolutely had to pick, I would like to share with you guys the City of Commerce. Wasn't that track like so soothing? Like just mellows you out. Alright, while the fangirl in me wants to give this game a high rating, really, it's about a 7.5 out of 10. And while it is average, don't get me wrong, it was still a lot of fun. Nier is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. But even with that said, it could still use some polishing up. But here's the breakdown of why I would give it, well, an average rating. The story is a 7 out of 10. Not that the story is bad, it was just carelessly told. The story was really confusing. It would like give you like tiny pieces, but then it all came out in a jumbled mess at the end. Likeable characters. Kaine, Emil, Nier, Grimoire Weiss, they were all likable. I enjoyed them all. There wasn't a single character that like dragged it down, you know? The characters' contrasting personalities really made enjoyable dialogue. Like seriously, traveling the lands like could sometimes get boring, but when Kaine and like Grimoire Weiss, or Kaine and anyone really, were talking, it was great dialogue. Fuck yeah, Kaine. Not only did the characters' personalities have some flavor, but their stories, there was life. They weren't just like, here's an NPC, like, alright, he's traveling with you, going to save the princess or your daughter, whatever the fuck you're doing in this JRPG. No, these characters had life and backgrounds and history and family and emotion. You fell for these characters. You cared about these characters. I cared about these characters. The towns have stories behind them. I think it's really talented, not only when you can give characters personality, but an entire economy personality. The gameplay is a 7 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's nothing special either. It was cool having a bunch of different weapons and a bunch of different magics to choose from. I could appreciate that variety. I love it. What I don't love is, it's just, I kept changing my magics and it got frustrating. Quests are dreadfully boring. It's like, hey, I'm a JRPG and there needs to be quests, so let's throw in some quests in there. The dungeons were great. They were littered with enemies. There were puzzle solving, some reading to do, but like, it was a solid dungeon. And, you know, the Zelda inspired stuff kind of made me happy. Also, shout out to the changing of the camera angle. I can really appreciate that, you know, it gave it a little bit more like perspective, a little bit more, just a change up for your eyes, you know. Boss battles were fun and challenging for the most part. It did get a little frustrating when you couldn't hit the timer on time, so it regained health and you had to fight it again. But overall, I really enjoyed the boss battle system. The graphics, to be honest, are probably Nier's weakest link. And it's so sad because it had so much potential that wasn't tapped into. Some characters look overly glossy, like I just kind of like what are you? Like, are you glass? Like, you polish your ass up, or like what's good? Ugh, their facial expressions were so fucking bland or weird, like they just didn't look right, you know? But thankfully, there was fantastic voice acting. So voice actors, you guys brought the life. You guys brought the life and the expression and the emotion. The towns, they look great. Again, their personalities are different and they look completely different. Also, in addition to the towns, I like the character designs. I like Kaine and Emil's design. And for those who have played the game, I like Emil's design. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying what it is because it's a spoiler. Lastly, the strongest stat of Nier is the music, which easily, with flying colors, gets an 11 out of 10. It is incredible. It is an amazing track, guys. This track is on fire! Seriously, a JRPG where every track was solid. Gold. Beautiful. Masterpiece. Mwah. Unique. Perfecto. Whatever the fuck Italians do and talk with their hands. It was soothing. It was action-packed. The soundtrack just encompasses everything. Everything! The soundtrack was so good. Like, I can't odd. I can't fraction. I can't math. There was different variations of the songs, you know? So like, not only did you get completely different songs, there were songs where it's like, okay, what if this person sang this song? What if this song was played with this kind of instrument and not this kind? This game, you will notice the music before you notice the gameplay or the graphics, which is saying a lot. Point is, this is the best JRPG soundtrack I've ever heard. Again, this game really does have serious kinks it needs to work out, but that doesn't make it a terrible game. It was a lot of fun, and hands down on my top 3 favorite JRPGs. Guys, I'm so hype about Nier 2. I really hope they keep the same composer, work on that fast travel, smoother storytelling, and update the graphics. For better or for worse, I'm playing Nier 2. So excited! Before I peace out, I want to ask, what is your favorite JRPG soundtrack of all time? Limited to JRPGs. If you don't play JRPGs, then what's just your favorite video game soundtrack? Also, tell me what you guys thought of Nier, because Nier gets an average rating from just about everyone, including myself. But I want to know you guys, you know, what you guys think of it. You know, do you guys think it's above average? Do you guys think it's below average? Do you think it was shit, garbage? Your opinion's invalid? Thank you again, guys, for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Love you!